Hi guys. So my brother, his friend, and me, Mackenzie, are gonna all do the 11-mile challenge. And basically, what the 11-mile challenge is, I'll let.
No, tell us.
Not me.
Read the rules.
Okay, so I'm gonna read you guys the rules. It says.
People are not very.
No, I said read from the top.
Down.
I know, I'm trying. I was just seeing how far.
Right there.
Okay, it says, do not turn on radio during the drive. Do not use phone during drive. Do not open windows during drive. Make sure they are all closed before you continue. If you are riding a vehicle without windows or a top, then
Preferably.
whatever, for the worst, as the odds are highly against you. Do not attempt to leave your vehicle at any time. You'll never want to exceed 30 miles per hour unless you're desperate to make it through and something off the road. And must, importantly, as they all drive, buckle up. Feel free to prepare and make sure you're ready. Once the road has been entered, time has stopped, so you don't need to worry about losing the night through. You might not notice you're not actually in your own world anymore. Take one last moment to realize that once the first mile is over, there is no turning back. If you proud turning back at all, know that you shouldn't even be on the journey in the first place. Once it as all done, start continuing on the road. On the first mile, you won't see much change. The road passes through mostly woods with a few miles beginning and something, I don't know that word, sorry guys. The air will turn a bit colder, in which you should turn on your heating system if the vehicle has one. You want to take your eyes off the road later. Take some time to calm any unnecessary by admiring some of the night sky. You'll see it completely land with stars, more than what you would ever believe possible. If the weather was cloudy beforehand, you'll also notice that the sky is now clearer. On the second mile, the air will become even colder. This is primarily the reason why traveling in an open vehicle is very difficult. With each mile, the air will drop in temperature, even if the season should be warm. If the air is too cold to bear, even with the heat on, your only option is to speed up. With each mile complex, taking more turns and showing an increasing amount of road hazards, be sure to always keep focused on the road in front of you. In order to avoid as many bumps or obstacles as possible. Hitting a few rocks and potholes won't hammer your progress too much, but you'll want to keep in best condition for as long as possible. If your vehicle is forced to stop because of damage, then there's nothing left you can do but actually freeze to death. On the 3rd mile, you may begin to spot
Figures.
hallucinations of human figures in the lighting of trees. Pay no attention to them, even if they seem to get closer. It will be hard to resist peeking at their unwavering distant appearance, but now that they will reveal themselves later as the mile the road will become dirt if you weren't driving on it in the beginning. Keep to the center of the path, as it will become narrow and wide at random something. On a quick side note, should you ever attempt to turn around, despite the previous warnings, you will be left on a path which never ends. You would simply run out of fuel eventually and be left to freeze in the cold conditions. On the 4th mile, you will not only see more of the figures, but you will begin to, in a sense, harm them in the back of your mind. As very faint,
unintelligible? Oh.
whisper will echo. Those will become and go, but you cannot stop them. If they become bothersome or distractions, try and turn them out of thinking of what it is you desire. Attempting to listen and daydream what the voices are saying will only attract them to you, and you want to be far from them as you can. They'll be closer later, so there's no use bringing them near you this early. On the 4th mile, you will come to a clearing. The lining of trees to your left will disappear to reveal a lake with no end, with a beginning gate moon over the water. The hallucination from the moon will be so spectacular that the vehicle's headlights will no longer be required.
That's when they start flickering.
Restrain yourself from gazing at it. If you look at its light even for a few seconds, the road in front of you will end, throwing your vehicle into the water, in which you will freeze in mere minutes. The voices will be gone for this mile, but don't rejoice yet, they'll be back. On the 6th mile, take into consent that you are more than halfway done. Despite the progress, you may lose hope. Here the stars will have disappeared at this point, leaving the sky in empty blackness. The clearing will have ended, landing you back into the woods. The only light you will have will be provided by your vehicle's headlights. But they will flicker from time to time, even if you're sure they're in perfect working order. If you have a radio on in the vehicle, it will turn on there automatically. If you don't turn it off beforehand, it will proceed on overwhelming speech that will send you off the path. A calm voice will begin to speak about your greatest fears. What is it you horror in your life? It will speak in a way that will cause you to visualize the words in your mind, so don't listen to it. If you begin to comprehend what it's saying, the horrors will prove too much for you to stay on the road safely. Attempting to turn off the radio will prove no use. Speed up if you need to. Just keep your mind off the voices as much as you can. As you approach the end of the mile, the voice will fade, but the speakers leaving your ears at peace for now. On the 7th mile, the voices from the figures will return. It won't sound like whispers this time, but more like distant screams growling closer. With each second, at some point on this mile, you'll hear one of them in your ear, as if one of them were right behind you. This is because one of the figures have found their way into your vehicle. Do not turn around. Their faces will shock you to a paralysis, leading you off the road. If you don't draw attention to it, it will become understood and hopefully leave. These beginnings are said to be ones who have traveled down this road before, but they're not successful. They leave the reminder of their existence shifting into the darkness. They leave reminders of their existence suffering into the darkness, with the only goal being to bring other travelers down with them. It has been said from experience that these beginnings can physically harm you. As long as you don't cause you to wreck, you should be fine. On the 8th mile, slow down if you're going too fast. The road here takes very sharp turns, which, if overshot, will throw the vehicle into a pit through the trees. The cold is near fatal here. If you were to have a glass of bottle of liquid in your vehicle, it will be solid in seconds. The heating system will become completely obsolete. Your headlights will flicker more, sometimes shutting off for a few seconds. You should brake if this happens. Do not completely stop the figures will be following you at this point. Should you stop for
It's
too long, they will surround
outside.
and trap your vehicle. More of them screams can be heard from outside. Your doors sometimes even
Wedding.
sounding of.
You people are not
Sorry about that.
fucking nice.
Sorry about that. Sometimes even sounding of mechanical laughter. Their hands will claw at your windows despite to reach in and feel something leaving. Do not look at them. They won't block your windshield, and the last thing you want to happen is to crash and be trapped with them. If you don't make it from here, pray that
Prayer. Pray.
pray that it's the freezing that ends you. On the 9th mile, I got it. On the 9th mile, vehicle will stall. The headlights will shut off as well as other systems inside. There's nothing you can do to prevent this. What you will need to do is close your eyes and immediately attempt to restart the vehicle. Keep your eyes closed as the figures will have slowly surrounded you at this point. And starting the vehicle will frighten them, and they will all back away temporarily. This will give you a chance to start moving forward again. If you begin to hear the windows creak from their struggles, don't lose focus. The begins can alter the vehicle. But remember that they still do not have enough strength or physical affect you. You will hear nothing but voices rampage your mind, as there could be anywhere between a dozen or 100 after you now. Once you start the vehicle, floor as long as you can. Stay on the path. With the miles done, the begins will react. On the 10th mile, the voices of the begins will stop. If you were to look in your rearview mirror, don't actually do this. You will see them following you, but not as if they were chasing. They're watching you, as if they were seeing you off as you go down the 10th mile. The road will be smoother, as if you were back in the first mile. The figures will be lining the side of the path ahead of you. They won't be after you, but they'll still watch you as you pass. Some have theorized that the begins are impressed here that you came a long way on this journey to what you desire. This is false. They do not impressed, but they are happy. They are happy you are about to approach the next mile. They are happy because you are almost likely going to your death. On the 11th mile, the final mile, everything in your vehicle will lose power. As it did on the 9th mile, the vehicle world would normally be immortal, but you will still be moving. An unknown force will be pulling you forward in the darkness. You will see a glowing red light up ahead, as if it were a light at the end of the tunnel. Close your eyes and cover them. Do whatever it takes to make sure you do not see what you're about to go through. Covering your ears would also be helpful, but keeping your eyes covered should be higher priority. The red light is another clearing, but there's no moon or lake this time. Once it's entered, unlearning and incredible noises will sound from all directions, not automatically of behavior, and considering will spy you from these sounds. The cold will turn to muscular heat during all parts of the vehicle. You will feel the hallucinations of the flash beginning burned off your bones, that every part of you being destroyed as you travel through screams and abiles, suffering as long as you keep your eyes closed and resist the urge to see where you are. You still survive through the suffering. This will last a total of 31 seconds, but many failed to keep their vision closed during that time and are left to the worst fate of the road. Where is the mile located? Those who have survived do not know. Some have named it
I know.
Some have named it Transmission from Hell.
Huh?
But whether it's a part of hell is decidable. After the final mile, power will return. Stop the vehicle. Take a moment to possibly regain some of your sanity. Let the screams in your ears begin to fade, and know that you have nearly completed your journey with the hardest task overcome. Breathe and begin to drive forward once again. After only cut more of your vehicle will arrive to a dead stop. To a dead end stop.
Oh.
There.
Thought you broke something.
There, and do not attempt to move again. Knowing will happen right this second, but do not be disordered. Relax, close your eyes, imagine in your mind what it is you desire the entire time. It will most likely still be the same as when you entered, but With some, these desires more actually change through making this journey. Think about what it was that you went through, such terrifying and difficult means are required, and image processing in your hands. Once you have completely visualized this, slowly open your eyes. You will then find yourself at the beginning of the unnamed road, where you first begin. This may confuse you, but you know that you are finished. Your risk is done. Your mind will then turn to your reward. If what you desire was meant to recheck in the back seat or in the trunk, if the object is larger, if the object is smaller enough might already be in your pocket. If what you desire was non-metrical, then do not be disappointed. If the changes is not immediately, turn back to where you came from, and you will find in your life that what you wanted is there. You may have found it, the love of your dreams. You may have gained eternal unmatched. You may have put your most hated enemy to the most suffering revenge possible. You will have no doubt gained what you deserved. So now that the task is done, what's the catch? Is your vehicle cursed? Is there something you're about to lose? Is your death immediate? The answer to all is no. Of course, you've done the challenge. You've proved worthy of what you desire. As started before, the sounds of the 11 mile will continue to exist in your mind. Posterity cursing you some vid and unusual nightmares, but these should prove as nothing compared to what you've gained. Now, one last question. Is there something else you desire? Are you not yet satisfied? Yeah, thank you, Corbin. After all, you've left right back where you started, the road right in front of you. So, are you up for another drive? If so, buckle up and just move forward. But those are the rules of the
11-mile challenge.
I almost said 9.
9.
The 11-mile challenge.
It's gonna be tough as
Yeah, it's gonna be really tough. I will talk to you guys afterwards then.